Time now for Night Court. On the docket tonight, a Kansas man wants to settle a dispute with his ex-wife with combat. But first, we start with a deaf man in New York who's suing a porn website over their alleged lack of closed captioning on explicit videos. Let's bring in tonight's Legal Eagles. Criminal defense attorney Bob Bianchi and Washington Times legal affairs reporter and attorney Alex Swear. You guys are good sports because we got some interesting cases tonight. Thank you both.
Thanks for having us.
Okay, so let's start with Exhibit A. Alex, this is for you. The lawsuit by this deaf person says defendant excludes the deaf and hard of hearing, this porn service, from the full and equal participation on their websites and therefore denial of its products and services offered thereby and in conjunction with its physical locations and is violation of plaintiff's rights under the ADA, the Americans with Disabilities Act. They say there aren't closed captioning on all of the videos. Alex.
So the ADA was actually passed in '91 before the internet. So it was geared towards physical spaces and that offered goods and services. So the courts have been really split about how to apply that now to the virtual space, right? And so the Supreme Court, as recently as last year, decided not to take a case on this. The DOJ has had given guidance that government websites do need to be ADA compliant. But for the rest, it's kind of been, different. So H&R Block was one that the DOJ got involved with and said there is a service offered, so they do need to meet some of the guidelines. But I would argue that Pornhub, it doesn't have a good or service. It's more of an entertainment site.
Okay, Bob, it looks like this may turn into or is turning into a class action lawsuit. Exhibit B, this is from Pornhub Vice President Corey Price, talking to TMZ, said this: while we do not generally comment on active lawsuits, we'd like to take this opportunity to point out that we do have a closed captions category. So why the lawsuit?
Well, yeah, let's put the Pornhub piece aside because that's what gets everybody fired up about this. But if they do have the closed captioning, and if that is a fact that is accurate, then the lawsuit is going to be significantly hampered because they will have been in compliance with the ADA regulations. So that's a fact issue that needs to be resolved, Shannon. But if they didn't, private companies need to know that if you don't comply with this, you could be held responsible. And unfortunately, the courts and Congress can't come to a decision. Like Alex said, it hasn't been since 1990 since anybody gave us any guidance.
Yeah, and that's the case with a lot of cases that we see ending up at the Supreme Court. The law doesn't keep up with the technology. We're still talking about teletypes and things and not smartphones. Okay, case number 2. Now, this is a guy who has obviously got a huge dispute with his ex-wife. They're stuck in court. He has petitioned a court to actually let them take care of it with a sword fight. Now, he says she can sub in her attorney. It doesn't have to be her. Here's what he says in request. He says he's requesting trial by combat. He says it's never been, Exhibit C, explicitly banned or restricted as a right in these United States. Bob, it's not illegal. Apparently.
It's a violation of the criminal law. The court's never going to allow this. Shannon, in my law practice, we work very closely with family law attorneys. We do criminal defense work. I see the pictures you got up there, but you know what? Nothing is worse.
These are not the people, by the way.
Yeah, these are the people. Nothing is worse than when we work with the family law attorneys in domestic violence cases or cases that wind up becoming criminal because people lose their minds in the context of a matrimonial action. The judge, which is shocking to me, one last point, should have just immediately said, no, thank you very much, don't waste the court's time. But if you believe it or not, the court's going to actually consider a ruling.
I know, it's great. And then the woman's attorney actually had to file a response. So
and here's the thing, is the guy has said, if you're going to decide to let me do this, I need you to give me enough in advance warning because I have to find these specific swords that were in and prepare them and be trained and be ready to go. And he says no one has to die. He says you can just declare yourself, I'm out, I've lost. It doesn't have to be to the death. All right, here's the wife's attorney, the ex-wife's attorney says this. It should be noted that just because the U.S. and Iowa constitutions do not specifically prohibit battling another person with a deadly sword, it probably does prohibit a court sitting in equity from ordering the same. Alex?
Yeah, I think that not just that, but also the fact that Iowa does ban murder would be problematic in this situation. But what was interesting to me in doing research for this is that, several states haven't banned dueling. And then in Iowa specifically, I saw that it's not banned, but you can't serve public office if you have participated in one. So I thought that was interesting.
Well, there are all kinds of things that we learned through this.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure the court's not going to let it happen. But both of these cases this. I think the first case has a better chance of going somewhere. The second one probably not so much, but we will follow them because folks at home, you're the jury. Tweet us with the hashtag Night Court to @FoxNewsNight or @ShanaBream. Let us know how you would rule in these cases. Bob and Alex, you have done a great job with what we have signed you tonight.
Thank you.
Thanks, Shannon.